December was a massive month, and I told myself I was going to scale back, but at the same time, I went a little overboard because not buying a lot of stuff in October, not buying a lot of stuff in November because of the move, finally getting settled in. I got over 50 titles here. I grabbed a bunch of Arrow Video stuff, 4Ks, Blu-rays. I even have a bunch of VHS. I don't have any DVDs this time around, but I do have a DVD to show off because it's part of the commentary. But other than that, I didn't pick up any DVDs, but I did pick up a lot of 4Ks. And let's dive into these VHS tapes. The very first one here is one that I remember watching a long time ago, but it's going to be a fresh watch for me. And it's Pink Cadillac with Clint Eastwood, Bernadette Peters. Now this one here, I picked it up for a few dollars. This might have a DVD, but it definitely doesn't have a Blu-ray or a 4K. I've checked. But I remember this one coming up on Siskel and Ebert's like worst movies. They hated it for that year, and it never really got great reviews. But I enjoyed it at the time. On the rewatch, I might change my mind. But Clint Eastwood, he's a skip tracer, and Bernadette Peters, she has a baby. The Cadillac has money in the trunk that's for criminals, and so the criminals are trying to get her now, and then he's trying to get her. It's a great movie from what I remember. Kind of a comedy, and then there's, you know, not really a militia, but I think it's like a hate group that's the criminal element that's trying to get it. They're running guns and all that stuff. So yeah, on the rewatch, I'm really looking forward to it. Another one, I don't remember any of it, but it was a movie that I saw probably I was like 5 or 6. I was really young, and so I vaguely remember this, and it's Nuns on the Run. Now, this one has come up in recommendations. People have recommended it. I don't know if it has a Blu-ray or a 4K. Probably not, but I definitely think it might have a DVD. But this is a movie that, it's been on my radar for a long time. I remember this movie poster when I was a kid, and my vague memory of this is you have Robbie Coltrane and Eric Idle. They are criminals, and they're trying to get out of the criminal element, but they're also, now they're going to be killed. And so they're hiding out. They're hiding out in the nun outfits, and it's goofy. It's comical. I enjoyed it. And if you don't know, Robbie Coltrane, great actor. He's been in many films, but most people will remember him from the Harry Potter series. He was Hagrid. Really enjoyable, though. Love this movie. Love the movie poster, and the rewatch on this is going to be, like I said, very fresh for me. It's going to be like watching it for the first time. Now here's a movie that I do love. I do remember it, but it has been a long time since I've seen it, so I might have a little vague memory on this one as well, but it is Dead Presidents. Now this movie had a DVD released in 97 or 98, but nothing since. We've never had a Blu-ray or a 4K. This would be an amazing release for any of the boutique labels, and I would love to get this. Now, this is a Disney-owned property. It's the reason we don't have it. But if you have not seen it, you have a bunch of young men. They finish school, then they go to war. I'm pretty sure it's the Vietnam War. They come home. They're not really welcomed at all. And then, you know, with society kind of downing on them, not being able to make it, they decide to rob an armored car. And that's the whole point. Dead Presidents, the money. That's the reference. But this movie, I think, is absolutely fantastic. I'm glad to have it in the collection now. And I will pick up that DVD, but I'm, you know, thinking or hoping that the Blu-ray or 4K is coming out. So I didn't want to just order it online. But if I find it pretty cheap, I'll probably pick it up and do the upgrade. But happy to have this VHS. Next, we have a movie that does have a Blu-ray, and I think a 4K. And it is a sci-fi cult classic starring Sean Connery, and it is Outland. If you haven't seen this movie, this one was pretty good. You know, Sean Connery's character is, you know, a cop in this mining colony, and pretty much everyone that's there is like the worst of the worst in society. And then people are dying in the mine, and then he's trying to find out, you know, who's killing the people. And man, yeah, this is something that I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it enough to pick up the 4K now, and you know, when Arrow Video's doing their 50% off sale right now, that's something I'm probably going to pick up this month for sure, because this was an enjoyable movie. Now here's one, I picked it up for a little bit of nostalgia, and a movie I wanted to share to my kid, because she loves movies, she loves fantasy, and this one has a dragon in it. But my nostalgia was stronger than my actual memory, because when I watched this with her, The CGI, I somehow forgot that the dragon was all CGI. I'm talking about Dragonheart with Dennis Quaid. Sean Connery does the voice of the dragon. It's a great story. I enjoyed it. But watching this, and then we watched it downstairs on the 4K television, and yes, I do have a VCR hooked up to my 4K TV. And for the most part, watching a VHS down there is not a big deal. But the CGI was laughable, I think. It was, 90s CGI was definitely notoriously bad, but, I think the story's great, and then it was great enough to have many sequels. There's many sequels that I don't think are great because they don't get talked about ever, I think. But something that, overall, like I said, I loved the story. When I was a kid, I enjoyed this. But watching the CGI dragon, I was like, man, they knocked it out of the park with some early 80s stuff with the special effects and dragons. There's a movie that I have in my collection that is considered one of the best for dragon special effects. I can't remember off the top of my head right now, but watching that and then seeing this one just like maybe less than 10 years later, it's kind of goofy. Now here's one that I picked up. I've never seen it. I still haven't seen it. Actually, the majority of this pile, I tried to watch it, but because of the holidays, I didn't get around to watching everything. So I'm going to try and knock that out sooner than later. But I do have a bunch of movies here that I don't have any commentary because I haven't been able to watch it yet. And this one here is something that I saw this on a movie that I rented back in the day. Like in the 90s, I rented a movie, and this was a trailer on the movie. And so it's always been on my radar, but for whatever reason, this movie has never come across my attention in any way. Like it was never on TV. I never saw this out until this last December. And it stars Gretchen Mol, Vincent D'Onofrio, and it's The 13th Floor. It's a sci-fi film, and what I remember from the trailer that I saw like 30 years ago was there's a 13th floor, it's sci-fi. I think these people are getting like plugged in or jacked into maybe the internet, and it's a fantasy world they go into, I think. But other than that, I don't remember anything from the trailer, but it's always been on my radar, so I'm glad to pick this up. Looking forward to watching it. But as I said, I'm going into it completely blind. Let me know. This might have a Blu-ray. I'm not sure. But again, it's something that, for whatever reason, has just never come across my attention until now. So looking forward to that one. So now I picked up a bunch of these Arrow Video titles. And Arrow Video had a good sale. But then I picked up all the stuff day one, too. But this is one of the first ones I picked up. Wasn't on sale. And I don't think it was day one, but it's a movie that I tried to get. It got lost in the mail, and then they gave me a refund. I had to reorder it, and then like Christmas Eve, the one that got lost in the mail showed up too. So I ended up having to send that back. It's a big pain in the butt, but it is The Mask, and I think this is an absolute fantastic 4K. I love this movie. I saw it in theaters when I was a kid when this came out, and I've had, love for this movie pretty much ever since. My youngest daughter loves this movie as well. She has her own VCR tape in her room, and she watches it a ton. So when we got this in the mail, she was super stoked. We watched it, and I think it's one of the better 4Ks of the year. Probably, I don't know if it's the best in my opinion. Out of the ones that I bought, probably the best. Really enjoyable. Definitely one of the best releases of the year for sure. And again, amazing looking 4K. But I love the special features. I love the touches they did. There's that. And then, I'm always a sucker for the big chunky box. And the fact that you have the reversible art, some stuff. Big fan. Then I picked up Heart of the Dragon with Jackie Chan. Now this is something I'm always trying to add more Jackie Chan films specifically, but anything Hong Kong cinema, I'm into it. And whether it's just, kung fu fighting or, a drama or a scary story, something like, I like the Hong Kong cinema. I'm really into it. Now this is something that I was glad to add to the collection, and being an Arrow Video, can't go wrong. I'm a big fan of what they do, and I have a fairly decent Arrow Video collection. But adding this in, huge blind buy. Just bought it based on the cover and Jackie Chan alone, so looking forward to this one. Still haven't watched it yet. I don't know if it's even worth picking up, but I'll watch anything Jackie Chan's in. Alright, the next one here is another Hong Kong cinema title, and it is Sister Street Fighter starring Etsuko Shihamo. I butchered it. I'm horrible. And Sunny Chiba. So that sold me on it. But it's a Hong Kong cinema film. Looking forward to this one. 2 discs. So I'm pretty sure it's just 2 movies. But looking forward to diving into this. And I love the way that Arrow Video puts these together. So they're not throwing the discs on top of each other. There's just a little flap. It works out perfect. And yeah, this is something that I'm really looking forward to. This is probably one of the ones that I'm going to put on the priority and try to watch sooner than later. But yeah, can't go wrong, in my opinion, with Hong Kong cinema in any fashion, whether it just be the kung fu stuff, you know, a scary story, a love story. Like, I like kind of all of it, but this is obviously the coolest because it's fighting. You can't go wrong with that. And then I picked up a few more titles. Now, they were kind of on my radar. Again, I haven't been able to watch these, but this one I picked up because I missed out. I think I missed out on the imprint version, and it's Day of the Locust with Donald Sutherland, Karen Black, Burgess Meredith, William Atherton. The cast alone sold me, and yeah, this is something that once I saw it, one, it was on sale through Arrow Video, and remembering that I'm pretty sure I missed out on the imprint version, this is something that I've wanted to watch. I don't know what it's about, just love the cast, and I'm pretty sure it's a time period piece, so looking forward to that. But here is a movie that I don't think it's ever been recommended, but it comes up a lot, and I almost bought it twice. Like, I was looking at the Hamilton Book website earlier, and there was a DVD, and so I added a bunch of DVDs in there, and then I double-checked if it had a Blu-ray or a 4K, and this is one of the DVDs. It had a different cover, so I didn't even think anything of it, and it's called Crimes of Passion with Kathleen Turner and Anthony Perkins. So I loved the premise of this, which now I don't remember what it is. Fashion designer Joanne Crane leads a double life. By night, she is China Blue, a prostitute who's attracted to unwanted attention of 2 men. One is sexually frustrated, private detective hired by her employees. Other is a psychopathic priest. Yeah, looking forward to it. Looking forward to it 100%. I like it, and picking it up for cheap, I think it was worth it. So yeah, I'm going to be diving into that one soon enough. Here's another one. It's probably a drama, weird movie, I don't know. But this is a movie that I've never heard of. It just happened to be on sale, so I picked it up, again, based on the cast alone. It stars Brendan Fraser, Ashley Judd, Viggo Mortensen, and it's The Passion of Darkly Moon by Philip Ridley. So that's something that I haven't even read the premise. I just picked it up on the cast alone, and I think it was like $10. So that's why I added this one. And Brendan Fraser is the sole survivor of a military-style attack on an isolated religious community. Yeah, sounds good to me. Looking forward to that one. Now, here's one I did watch, and it's an interesting movie. And I have another movie in here with a similar premise, but it's different, and both are enjoyable. But this one I thought was going to be a comedy, and when I look it up, it actually even says it is a comedy or dark comedy. And while there's stuff in there's nothing that really made me laugh or chuckle, but maybe the cultural differences, because it's more Hong Kong cinema, in just how things were portrayed in the movie. Maybe that's why it's considered a comedy, because you have the whole gender role reversal where this young girl's troubled teen, she inherits her father's Yakuza gang. So this is Sailor Suit and Machine Gun. The cover alone makes me feel like it's going to be a fun comedy. I mean, dark comedy, obviously, murder and mayhem. There's blood all over the cover of it, but it's this cartoony cover, and that's like the original movie poster, I'm pretty sure. Not a bad film, really enjoyed it, but I didn't kind of find it funny. Like, it comes across as a comedy, and maybe it's just me, or it's just the cultural differences, but it was an enjoyable watch. I did enjoy this one, but the whole idea that she inherits the Yakuza, and then she becomes the boss. I've seen many of the Yakuza or Hong Kong cinema gangland movies, and this was just an interesting one, so I enjoyed it. And then, happy accident, I picked up another movie this same month that has a similar premise. But yeah, this one, I enjoyed it. I don't think it's a high recommend. It's clearly not for everybody, but if you like Hong Kong cinema, give this one a go. Now here I have both the 4K and the Blu-ray version of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So Arrow Video released this. This was a huge release for me. Probably my favorite release of the entire year. Clearly one of the most anticipated ones. But you have different artwork on both of these. But somebody was pointing out, I was watching My Killer podcast, and she mentioned that she didn't like the fact that the art was on the O card here, and that the box art was kind of plain. I don't know if she picked up both versions, but I don't mind. Because I keep all my stuff, especially when it's a boutique label. But she did point out, like, some people do. They throw the O card away. They just put this on the shelf and that's that. And it's kind of plain. And that's fine, because I feel, I mean, and she's entitled to her opinion and not knocking that at all. But I just wanted to point that out, that it has been mentioned a few times already, I guess. Comes with a nice book. But I don't mind, because you're getting that fantastic artwork on these discs. And I like to have a difference sometimes. So just the fact that that's different than these works out for me. But they do come with reversible art, and you can use the original artwork there. So each disc has a different artwork as well. So this one here is the Blu-ray. Is there a huge difference between the two? A slight uptick. I think the 4K looks amazing, and I would have been 100% happy with that. I already had Blu-rays, but being a huge Turtle fan, for me, it was more important to add them both, because I have multiple versions of this movie, and it is part of the collection. It's something that I enjoy. Now, a lot of people will disagree, just have one, but it's my collection. It's what I like. So here's the artwork for these ones, and I think it was an almost home run. Like, I mean, it was clearly a home run. Like, this was an amazing set for sure. It has a ton of special features, a ton of new special features, stuff we've never seen before, commentaries, and just, you know, a lot more information. There's alternate scenes, alternate endings, and things I just wasn't aware of. So I think they nailed it there. But then it was this. So I have these two documentaries, and the one, let's see, this one was put out by New Line Cinema, and this one was distributed by Paramount. There's Paramount stuff all over the DVD, and it is the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Behind the Shells. This one is included on the second movie. So this one is included, so that was awesome, because I have the VHS, but not a lot of people do. Not a lot of people have the ability to enjoy that. I don't even know if it's like available to stream anywhere. But then this one, it's like an hour plus long. I think it's like an hour and a half long. But I picked this one up. I found it at the dollar store many years ago, and so I was hoping that it would be included on one of these discs. And as far as I can tell, like, I've combed over that stuff, but I didn't see it. And it is Turtle Power, A Look Under the Shell. This is the definitive history of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. This is a fantastic documentary. And, well, you know, I still think they nailed it and they knocked it out of the park. It would have been cool if they included something like this. Now, I have it. I can enjoy it. I do highly recommend it if you're a Turtle fan to track this down. It's well worth the watch. Highly entertaining. And I was like, I know not everybody likes documentaries and commentaries, but even my wife enjoyed this one, and she hates that stuff. So I would have loved to see this included, but I am glad to have it. But it is one of those things, like, people constantly talk about, you know, disc rot, and is this stuff going to last forever? And so saving this, preserving it, putting it on a new format, I would have enjoyed that. But it's just, I guess, you know, a little nitpick thing. Other than that, I think they did nail it. They knocked it out of the park. And then let's open up the other one. So for comparison, there's that. There's your artwork on both. And then as you open this up, it is the exact same box there. So exact same box, and then the same on the back. So nothing different there. And then with this one, the artwork is also different on the discs. So I think I switched these around. Did I switch these around? I did not. So you have the original movie posters, the original artwork, and then you can switch that around if you don't want the new stuff. So this is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, then Turtles 2, and Turtles 3. So I like the exclusive Arrow Video cartoony artwork for the new stuff. This stuff is fine, but in general, I love the original posters, the original artwork, and that's fine. So these 4Ks I thought were incredible. It comes with a bunch of crap that not everybody enjoys, but the fact that they include it, because there are people that do enjoy it, I think is absolutely top notch. So you got posters, I'm pretty sure they're double-sided posters of each thing, and then the trading cards. And so that's a more nostalgia thing. I remember when I was a kid, trading cards were a huge thing, so it's a nice touch, but for me, I'm not a trading card guy, so that's going to stay in the thing. If there were art cards or stills of the movie, I would have had those framed up, no problem. But the fact that each disc is, a copy of this, and it's different from the Blu-ray version, I'm glad to have both, and so I'm going to be enjoying that. Now, the next thing I picked up is something that's outside my wheelhouse. Now, I've tried to enjoy these in the past, and for the most part, I think they're fine, or maybe one and dones, but not really like something I want to revisit regularly. But every time it comes up, the conversation comes up, and the huge fans of this, they're like, oh, you're missing out. So I picked up this Giallo Essentials Black set. It's got 3 titles in here, and it was $30. So at the original price of $100, I was completely out. In the Giallo's not in my wheelhouse, but the fact that it was $30 and it comes up often enough, I feel like I'm missing out. I'm going to give it a whirl, and then this cover sold me. So, I mean, my inner pervert enjoyed the cover. So that's why I grabbed it. Seriously, 30 bucks, the cover, and then the fact that everyone's telling me I'm missing out. That's something I'm going to be diving into. Now, like I said, I have had movies in my collection that are Giallo adjacent. They're clearly not Italian films, but there's definitely a ode to that, or a love story to Giallo, or whatever you want to call it. There's definitely some influence. And I've enjoyed those movies, and so I'm going to give these ones a shot. But there's 3 titles in here, and it is Smile Before Death, The Killer Reserved 9 Seats, and The Weapon. Let's see. It's written in a funny font. The Weapon, The Hour, The Motive. So there's 3 movies there. Looking forward to diving into this, but I don't know if I'm going to be a Giallo collector and try to knock out the out-of-print, overpriced other box sets, but this was 30 bucks. I didn't think you'd go wrong. And now diving into all the 4K movies that I have the bunch of stuff that pretty much everything here was either on sale, part of a Black Friday deal, or it was just something that I had to have, early on or day one. But the majority of it was a sale. So the first one here is Species 2. Now, it's a movie that I saw when I was a teenager, when I got into the Species franchise, and I enjoyed this one. Now, the 4K on this I thought looked pretty good. Is it a reference disc? Probably not, but it looks good. It looked good. I enjoyed this. And then Natasha Henstridge, who I'm pretty 100% positive she was in the first one as well. She plays a different character here. She's still an alien, but I think she's like a clone or the daughter of the alien. She's in a facility. She's never been introduced to the male species. But then there's astronauts that go to space, and then one of them gets infected by the alien, and then he comes home. So it's a reversal from the last movie, and then he's trying to impregnate everybody and basically create an army of aliens, and then she kind of has to help. But I enjoyed this one. I thought it was a fun watch, and I thought the 4K was fantastic. Now here's the one that's very similar to Sailor Suit Machine Gun, and it's Yakuza Princess. The 4K on this I thought looked incredible. It's a newer movie, so I figured it would anyway, but this is a similar premise. Girl inherits a Yakuza gang, and then she becomes the boss. Lots of fighting, lots of action, blood, gore, sword play. Great. I enjoyed this. If you like Hong Kong cinema, this is a good one. Now here's one that when I first saw it, wasn't a biggest fan of it. But then my daughter wanted it. She was super into it. I bought it for her for Christmas, and then we watched it as a family, and so this is the second time I've seen it. So it's Red One with Dwayne Johnson, Chris Evans, Lucy Liu, J.K. Simmons, tons of people in this movie, and it's just a fun spectacle Christmas time holiday film action movie, and it's got this whole Marvel field behind it, and I think that's why I was out on it last year. But this year I thought it was fun enough, and it's going to be a yearly watch for sure. But the 4K looked incredible. It's a newer movie. And again, it's just, there's fantasy elements that it goes everywhere with this one, but it's a little over the top. If you haven't seen it, Santa Claus gets kidnapped. They're trying to look for him. Chris Evans is a regular guy, but he has like this, they never say superpower, but it's like a superpower. Basically, he can just, it's like luck. He just does things and it just works out for him, and then he uses that to be a bad guy. He's on the naughty list. He's a criminal. He's doing criminal things, stealing stuff. And he's the one who basically finds where Santa Claus is for the bad guys, and that's why he gets roped into this. And then Dwayne Johnson is Santa Claus's right-hand man. Galveston with Ben Foster, Elle Fanning. This is a great movie. Now, I have the Blu-ray, so getting this for cheap, for me, was a no-brainer. I think it was like $7 or something on Hamilton Book. And it's a great story. I love Ben Foster. And then this one here, it's a heavy drinking criminal enforcer and the mob hitman whose boss set him up on a double-cross scheme after killing his would-be assassin before they could kill him. So it's a great story. There's definitely many layers. And then Elle Fanning, he goes out of his way to save her. And not really like a redemption arc, but he's obviously his life is horrible. He does bad things. He's an alcoholic. Like maybe he's not an alcoholic, but he's definitely a heavy drinker. And yeah, his life is really going nowhere, but he does something good with his life. And I highly recommend this film, but picking it up on the 4K, absolutely fantastic for me. Now here's one, I haven't seen it yet, but it comes highly recommended. It's been talked about a few times, but as the $35 price tag, I wasn't into it. This was on sale, but I think I still picked it up for like $12, maybe $17. I just don't recall, but it was a Hamilton book purchase, and it's Delicatessen. So this is a 7 release, but I'm pretty sure this is full of gore and, maybe a horror movie. It's been called murderously funny, subversively stylish, and visually stunning. So those are the quotes on the back. Now experience the most charming post-apocalyptic cannibal comedy ever made. So yeah, now I'm extra in. I just came as a high recommend many times. Nobody told me it was like a dark comedy about cannibals. I think I would have bought it sooner, but picking it up for cheap works out for me. So looking forward to this one. Now here's one that I picked up. I didn't really get into this series. This is like a sequel or prequel series, and it's House of the Dragon from Game of Thrones. So I picked this one up. I didn't finish watching Game of Thrones. I have the first 3 seasons on Blu-ray, and I'm trying to add the rest. But when everybody was like super disappointed by it, like I kind of stopped watching it. I think around season 4, and then everyone finished it off, and they were like, "Oh my God, 8's the worst season ever." It's like, and then people were mad about it, so I just kind of put it off forever. But this was cheap. I think it was under $20 for a 4K of the new season. But when it came, this part's all smashed in and damaged because this part here, which is, easy for it to get damaged, was put in like this, so whatever fell on it just fell right in. Not a big deal. For me, I don't care. It's a TV show. I'm gonna rip this to my hard drive and then have it connected to my computer. That's how we generally enjoy these. But the first watch, I'm gonna watch every single disc, and then go around. But after that, it's gonna get ripped to the hard drive and then sit on my shelf. But overall, stoked about it. I watched the first 2 episodes, and then my thing about this is my thing with every modern cinema, TV show, everything, it's all shot digitally, and then the idea of we'll fix it in post, and that has become such a thing that I think it's kind of ruining things, I guess, for me at least. So this show was so dark, and I get there's a stylistic approach there, but I've seen many movies in my entire life that had dark scenes, but there's a way to light it that it still looks good and you can enjoy it. Now, my normal settings on my television, the first season was so dark, it was kind of hard to enjoy. I had to put this on vivid, or what some people call torch mode, to have it the brightest possible picture just to enjoy the image. And it is because the way they do the lighting in the modern cinema. And then with that, then you also don't have shadows, unless they, like a show like this where they have candles, they have flames, they have fire. Then it does, and that's not digital from the Dragons. They have some shadows, but other than that, because they don't do the lighting like they used to, the shadows don't work right, and it just kind of feels very static. And even though I was enjoying the show, that's my only negative about it. But for 20 bucks or less than 20 bucks for the whole season, I am looking forward to diving into the rest of it. It's just my gripe about modern movies and TV is the fact that I had to blast my picture all the way up on torch mode just to enjoy this show. The next one here is something that I really enjoyed it. It's a family drama with Paul Newman, Melanie Griffith, Bruce Willis is in this film, tons of people. Jessica Tandy is in this one as well. But yeah, Paul Newman's Nobody's Fool. I think it's a great film, but it's a family drama. So Paul Newman plays this old construction worker with, I think he's got bad joints and aches and pains. He's just too old. Bruce Willis is in there, and then Paul Newman is owed money by Bruce Willis. I think he's trying to sue him, and there's this conversation throughout the entire film, and Bruce Willis isn't going to give him the money. So at one point, it's kind of a dark comedy because it's like, serious subject matter, I guess, like dealing with family issues, but he's stealing the snowblower, and Melanie Griffith is Bruce Willis's wife, and so she's kind of flirting with him out the window and let him steal it, and it's kind of an enjoyable film. But yeah, this is something that overall I enjoyed it. But his son comes, he left a long time ago. He comes back and he's got his grandkids. So now Paul Newman is forced to face all this emotional stuff, and he's kind of a grumpy person, hard-headed, set in his ways. And the whole town knows that. And so then he has this like house that's fallen apart, dilapidated, because it was his father's house. And he's not a big, obviously not a big fan, but he's kind of hates his father, and his father's dead and left him the house, and he doesn't want anything to do with it. And the whole entire town just kind of thinks that's crazy. So then I'm pretty sure he's like renting a room from Jessica Tandy. And so, yeah, this is something that overall, it's just a complicated, or not complicated, but many layered family drama type movie. But really enjoyed it. Great cast, and they don't make movies like this anymore. I thought it was absolutely fantastic. Next one here is one that everyone complained about. It's a James Cameron 4K, and it is Titanic. I picked it up because I think it was $10, and I've enjoyed the James Cameron 4K movies for what they are. They're not perfect. They're not the best 4Ks ever. You can complain about them all you want, but I do have all the settings on my television off or super low. So any of those things that people complained about, I don't notice until I crank up all my settings. So that's just me. But as the 4K goes, I enjoyed the watch. Nothing really stood out to me as being god-awful when these 4Ks have been put out by James Cameron, but people do complain about them. So I did wait on this one. I picked it up when it was cheap, and I do like the Titanic movie. So revisiting on 4K, I did enjoy my time, but it is to note that many people hated this. People hate the scrubbing or whatever James Cameron does for his restorations, and this was no different. Now here's one that I did think was an absolutely fantastic 4K, and it is Eyes Wide Shut with Stanley Kubrick, but it's Tom Cruise, Nicole Kidman. I love this film. I had the Blu-ray forever. I'm glad to have this, and getting the Criterion 4K, having the movie stacked like that, I think is great if you're going to have to stack them. But they could have added a flap. They don't. And I'm glad they don't, because this book is so thick that it would have got squished in there. So the way they've done everything I thought was pretty fantastic. I didn't get to dive into all this. Oh, and I didn't realize there was actually 3 discs. So 2 Blu-rays and a 4K. I guess tons of special features, things that I have not been able to dive into yet. But I did watch the film, and for a 4K, I think it was one of the better ones of the year for sure. Now here's one, it's a newer film that stars Tom Holland and Daisy Ridley. I saw the trailer, I was super stoked about this one, but it is something that, it's a sci-fi film. I'm not a huge sci-fi buff, And I have many that I enjoy, and I have your core favorites, and there's some things outside my wheelhouse that I do enjoy. But this one here, it was a slow burn sci-fi, if that makes any sense. And I mean, at least in my opinion, like I didn't feel like it was enough action, but it was a cool story, a cool premise. And you have this Tom Holland's character. He's on this planet that basically, they call it noise, but basically everyone can hear them, or they can see their thoughts, and you see this like stuff going around their head, and it's like purple and red, and it's like moving, and then you're hearing what they're thinking, and so is everybody else. And then they can also see the thoughts. And Daisy Ridley's character, she shows up, she's a woman, and almost like they consider it like she's an alien, she's from Earth. She doesn't have that noise, she doesn't have those thoughts. But then the people that are in charge of this, I guess, society, community, village in this area, there's no women, it's all men. And so Tom Holland has never seen a woman until, you know, he has vague memories of his mother, but until Daisy Ridley's character shows up. So then they pale up together, and then they leave because the local people are trying to get her, and it looks like they're going to kill her. And then we find out that is kind of what happened, is they killed off all the women. And so it's just like, I don't know, man. I'm going to watch it again. I didn't hate it, but I didn't like it. I don't think it's a high recommend. I think it's a fantastic movie. I think it's a cool idea, but it's something that I might have to give it a rewatch and see how I really feel. But I was watching it during a busy season. Everyone was interrupting. I didn't really get to like sit down and enjoy it. But from what I saw, like I said, I think it was fantastical, but you know, because it's a cool idea. It's a really cool idea. But I think like I was feeling that it was played flat, like very flat. So again, I have to watch this again, because I don't think there was a lot of chemistry between these two characters, and maybe that's how it was supposed to be. Maybe that's the entire premise of the movie, but I don't know. I just feel like you have these two characters running off together, and there should be some kind of chemistry there, and I didn't feel it. So I think that's what I was kind of pointing out with this one. But I'm going to have to give it a rewatch and, you know, think about it a little bit. Now this one here I thought was absolutely fantastic. It's one of my favorite movies of the year, and it is Caught Stealing with Austin Butler, Regina King, Zoe Kravitz, Matt Smith, Liv Schreiber, Vincent D'Onofrio, Benito Martinez Ocasio, and this was a fun movie. But overall, it's not what I thought it was going to be. Now it says Caught Stealing. I figured it was a heist movie. I love heist movies. That works for me. But this was not a heist movie. But there's this criminal element. They're selling drugs. I'm pretty sure they're selling drugs. And there's a whole bunch of money missing. They're looking for the money. And Austin Butler's character finds a key to where the money is. But he doesn't know anything that's going on, because he was asked to watch the cat by his neighbor. You know, I'm pretty sure it's Matt Smith who did this. And then, yeah, he's the one who stole all the money, and so they're going after him for the key, and he's trying to unravel the whole thing. Man, I thought it was great. I thought it was a great movie, but it's definitely, you know, there's no winning at the end. Like it's one of those ones where like bad things happen constantly. There's a little bit of dark humor in this one, but yeah, I love this one. One of my favorites, and one of the best 4Ks of the year, I think. But again, it's a modern film shot in 4K. It does have some things that I would enjoy a little bit more, like better lighting. But overall, great film, great 4K. Now here's an old film. It came highly recommended for many years. I finally pulled the trigger. I remember this movie poster from when I worked at the video rental store, but this is a movie that I tried to watch several times. I finally got to finish it, and I enjoyed it. I like this film because it's different. You have the final girl element, but it's not your like classic slasher type movie where it follows this formula. At the end of this movie, you still don't know who the bad guy is. And usually you do, or you have a gist of it. There's no redemption. There's no backstory. This guy is just, you don't know who he is at all. And he's just killing to kill, as far as you understand. And that's a good villain. It creates a good villain. It creates great suspense and sets it up for, you know, I guess this is a cult classic. And For me, it worked. I really enjoyed this. So for as adding this to my Christmas watch list, I'm going to easily, every single year is going to be on my watch list. But I did enjoy it. And just the fact that we don't know who the killer is, that works for me. This one here, I didn't get to watch it, but I've seen the movie a million times. I think the 4K is probably going to be great, but we have Silver Bullet. I picked this up because it was a Amazon sale. I think this was cheap. I don't remember exactly what it was, but this is one that TJ texted me about. He's like, bro, Amazon's having some good sales. I missed out on a couple, or they canceled a couple of my ones, but I did end up getting this one, so that worked out. I love this film. And I had the Blu-ray, so the upgrade, I didn't need to upgrade anytime soon. I was in no rush for it. So picking it up for cheap, that worked for me. But again, I have no commentary on what the 4K is because I didn't get to watch it yet. And again, it's a 4th of July movie, so I wasn't going to want to watch it in December anyway. Now here's another one I picked up for my daughter. So this was one of my daughter's Christmas presents because she loves this movie. She loves this franchise. And even this one, even though this didn't get great reviews, a lot of people weren't into this, she loved it. So I picked it up for her, and it's Megan 2. And I liked the first one. We had a lot of fun with it. It was basically Chucky, but it was a girl. It was kind of that whole similar story, or influenced heavily. This is different. This is a whole different animal. A lot of people didn't like it. So I guess like any kind of third one or franchise has already been kiboshed because... this one wasn't well received, and there was a lot of money dumped into this as far as I understand, and they didn't make their money back. But Megan 2.0, I thought it was fun enough, like it was enjoyable. And another one, I picked it up on sale, so it worked out, and it was for my daughter. Now here's 2 movies that I've tried to watch, and every single time, super distracted because of the holiday season. And so I don't really know anything about them other than just the main gist. So this one here is The Haunting of Sharon Tate with Hilary Duff. And from what I understand, it is her in some bad dreams and things that she was dealing with shortly before the horrible, gruesome murder that happened. But yeah, this is something that, while it's a horrible story, it's also a fantastic story. It's incredible. It's like unbelievable. So I would like to dive into this and get the rest of it. It's American history. It really happened. I mean, I don't know how accurate the film is, but this, she was really murdered. It was just crazy. So that's something that I'm looking forward to getting into. But then this one here, The Unbearable Weight of a Massive Talent with Nicolas Cage and Pedro Pascal. Yeah, this is something that from the go, the trailer had me. So from what I understand, Nicolas Cage plays himself in this movie, but then there's like some bad elements, some drug dealers, some stuff going on. He gets wrapped up into the whole thing. So I'm looking forward to actually watching this. I guess it's a dark comedy. I guess it's fun, but picking it up for cheap, for me, it was 100% worth it. Now, the next one here is something that I was a little disappointed by it. I still like the movie. I think the movie's good. It's a good story, but I don't know what I was getting into. So it's Anna Kendrick, Woman of the Hour, and it's the true story of the dating game killer. So if you don't know, there was a real-life serial killer that was on the dating game, and this movie is a little bit of their interaction and how their lives crossed. So, I don't know. There was something about this. So it wasn't the actual his story. It wasn't really her story. It was mostly in the dating game thing. And then it would show stuff where he was killing women and how the one woman got away and how he got caught at the end. Like there's that part of it. But I don't know. I guess... I don't know. I didn't know what I was expecting when I got into this movie. And I've seen many of these serial killer type movies where they did like the biopic and it's like basically shows the whole story of what they did. And those movies are kind of a one and done. I was kind of looking at, hoping that this movie was really on her side and it was like mostly that, but it was a little bit of both. She wanted to be an actress. She ended up being on the dating game. This whole incident, this whole thing, he creeped her out. I don't think she ever realized who it was. I mean, she probably did it after the fact. I mean, obviously everybody did. But during the time, like she almost was a victim but there was like last minute luck, and she got away. She decided she didn't want to be an actress. She packed up all her stuff and moved away. So fantastic story. Glad she didn't get killed in real life. But yeah, I don't know. It was enjoyable, but I guess it's just not what I expected. Now, this one here, The Stepford Wives, is a movie that I had on VHS. So this was a huge upgrade. And so the Blu-ray, I think it was great. I think it was absolutely great. But a nice restoration, a nice 4K, could be welcomed. But overall, huge upgrade from my VHS. If you don't know, you got a great cast here. And this is a remake. There was a Stepford Wives, I'm pretty sure back in the 60s. I've never seen that film, and I really would like to. I just, somehow or other, it's never come across my attention. So maybe in 2026, it's something I'm going to look forward to, is the original Stepford Wives. But yeah, Nicole Kidman, Matthew Broderick, Bette Midler, Christopher Walken, Faith Hill, and Glenn Close. So if you don't know, there's a small town community of these perfect wives. They do everything for their husbands. They dress like they're in the 50s. They take care of them. But they didn't used to be that way. And so it's almost like somebody flipped a switch, and they're these like amazing housewives. And so Matthew Broderick and Nicole Kidman, they moved to this area, and they're slowly introduced to that. And then Bette Midler's character, she's loud, foul-mouthed, and she really she's not doting or loving of her husband. She's kind of mean to him. And then all of a sudden, she is that 50s housewife wearing dresses, makeup, and then speaking eloquently, not foul-mouthed anymore, and just doting on her husband. And so then they know something's up. But yeah, I enjoy this. It's a guilty pleasure movie. I had the VHS for many years, so the upgrade was nice. Now here's a movie that I saw this way back on VHS back in the day, and then I found that it had a Blu-ray, so I had to import this. I'm pretty sure it came from Germany, and it took a long time. So I'm pretty sure I ordered this like back in November, and it finally just showed up. And it is The Believer with Ryan Gosling. But this is a great movie, but also serious subject matter, and all of this is in German. So what I don't remember, it's definitely not going to be there. But he's a skinhead, and he's a racist, but it's a powerful film. It's one of those ones. I guess it's hard to say that it's enjoyable because of the subject matter, but it's a well-made, great film, very powerful, and I think worth a watch. But I'm glad to have this in the collection. I'm going to revisit this because I said my memory on it's vague, other than the whole racist angle and the hatred, and yeah. But again, looking forward to diving into this one. Now, the next two here are some older films that I had picked up because I'm always into the black and white stuff, and then just the actors. Usually the actors is what's going to get me. So both of them, I watched them, but because being heavily distracted through the holidays, like they were on in the background, I was cooking or doing something, or people were always talking. So I honestly don't know what they're about. So this one here, Silk Stockings with Fred Astaire, Sid Charisse. From what I saw, I enjoy singing and dancing. I'm a huge fan. Anything Fred Astaire, I'm into it. I will buy it. I will watch it. And I don't think there's anyone that I've disliked. So this one here, there's like a Soviet girl who's trying to get people, stop them from, drinking champagne and capitalism, like that whole thing. But then I think she gets involved with Fred Astaire's character. That's kind of what I was getting out of this, but I'm not 100% sure. But it's a musical. It's not for everybody. I do like these old Fred Astaire films, so I'm going to have to rewatch that one. But from what I saw, it did look fun. And now this one here is Christmas in July. From what I understand, a girl asks her father for basically Christmas in July. Stars Dick Powell, Ellen Drew. But it's an old black and white film again, because nobody else in my house likes the black and white films or the old stuff. It was very easy for them to just board games, talking loud, distracting. And while it's the holidays and it's fun, it's also Christmas in July. So it says Christmas, but it's probably a summertime watch for me. So I am going to have to rewatch this one as well. But I do love these old black and white films. And this one was from 1940. So yeah, it's not up their alley at all. Now here's one out of the pile. This is one of the few that I'm probably not going to keep. This is one that I'm actually going to get rid of. I didn't love it, but I thought it was on my radar because the title looked familiar, but the movie poster was different from what I had seen. So this is an A24 film, and that's the majority of the reason I didn't like it. Because it's like, I always think that, A24 films are, snobby films for snobby people, or pretentious films for pretentious people. And like, I only have a few A24 films in my collection. And if you love A24 films, you go right ahead. I'm not knocking that. You can enjoy, like what you like. But these don't hit home with me. The few I have in my collection, they're either okay, or there's like something about it. There's one reason or another why I've kept it. This one I'm not keeping. But overall, I think the premise of the story was kind of cool, but at the same time, I didn't like the execution. But either way, it's Love Lies Bleeding. And so I picked this up. I think it was like $6 on Hamilton Book. And again, this is something that I felt, just reading the title, seeing this cover, I felt that it was a high recommend. But then after watching it and realizing what it was, and then I was at Barnes & Noble and I saw the A24 Love Lies Bleeding cover, and I was like, oh, that's the thing. It wasn't a recommendation. I was familiar with it because of the A24 film. And so then I looked at the back and it says VVS Films A24, so they're involved, or they're two studios connected. So this one here, it's got a lot to unpack. So you have Ed Harris, Kristen Stewart, Katie O'Brien, Dave Franco. So Dave Franco in the beginning meets up with Katie O'Brien, who's this girl. She's a bodybuilder. She's got a ton of muscle. She's way bigger than, maybe not taller, but muscular, way bigger than Dave Franco. In like the beginning of the movie, she's sleeping with him in the car basically for a job. Now, Dave Franco is brother-in-law to Kristen Stewart, and he's abusive. He beats up his wife, and Kristen Stewart hates that, but then she's this butch lesbian who's, got the chopped hair. It's actually not even. I think it's like all kind of chopped like she did it herself. She dresses like a man. She's a lesbian, and that's fine. It's a good plot point for the story, because now this character who slept with Dave Franco's character for the job, she now sleeps with Kristen Stewart for a place to live. And so there's that element, which is interesting. But then there's a lot of lesbian sex through the entire film, which I don't think carries the film on. Like, if you take it out, it doesn't change the majority of the film, other than that's the reason, basically, that she has a place to live, as she starts dating Kristen Stewart's character. And then Kristen Stewart's character, we find out that her brother-in-law is beating up on her sister. Her father's a piece of garbage that the FBI is trying to find, but we don't know why. And so it all kind of unfolds, and you find it all out basically towards the end of the movie in the third act. But the bodybuilder girl goes and kills Dave Franco for Kristen Stewart, and then they hide the body where a bunch of Ed Harris's bodies were hidden, and then they blow up the car, and so everyone can see the smokes, and then they start finding things. And then it also was implied that Ed Harris might have killed Kristen Stewart's mother, but it's never solidified. He never admits it. He always says that she ran off, but she kind of thinks that she's down in the hole. And yeah, I don't know. I think the story was cool. I think some of the elements were great, but I just think the execution was just not there. I don't know. I didn't connect to any of these characters at all, or I didn't feel for any of them emotionally. So, I don't know. That's one of the things. I didn't like the movie, but I think it could have been great. Now, here's one that I absolutely did love, and it is A Force of One with Jennifer O'Neill, Chuck Norris, and this is an old movie, but it takes place at Christmas time because there's criminals that are robbing a store. There's a Santa Claus, like a figurine or statue or mannequin or something, and so I don't think there's really any mention of Christmas. I don't remember any, there's no thing about Christmas other than that Santa Claus thing. But I think this is going to be a Christmas watch for me for sure because of the Santa Claus in there. But this movie, if you haven't seen it, I thought it was great, a fun macho man movie, but it's kind of a serious movie. So there's a vigilante who's actually using karate to kill the bad guys. People are robbing and stealing and doing stuff. So he's doing good, but he's also doing it the wrong way. He's killing everybody. And so then the entire film, the way it feels, so as I'm watching, I don't want to spoil anything, but as it feels like Chuck Norris is the guy. So he's the karate man. He's the best. Everyone likes him. They've seen him fight. He's great. But yeah, it kind of makes you feel like it's him through the film. And so yeah, I like this one. I think it's great. It's one that I never saw. I watched a lot of Chuck Norris films when I was a kid, but this is one that I never saw. So glad to pick this up. And it's just a simple Blu-ray, nothing special. It's put up by Kino Lorber, and the movie's from 1979. The next one is something that I picked up, and I was glad to have this, but it's a movie that I had wanted to watch for a long time. I saw the trailer, I was super intrigued, and so this was very high on my radar, and it is Greta with Isabelle Hubbard and Chloe Grace Moretz. So this movie, Isabelle's character, she is lonely, and she leaves a bag on a train or a subway car, and Chloe Grace Moretz, she finds a bag, returns it, and then befriends her. But then she finds out that this woman is a little crazy, and she had many bags, and she'd been doing this hoping somebody would come to her, and we find out that she's a crazy stalker, but also like horrible lady. And so yeah, I liked it. I liked the movie. I thought it was great. Probably not, for me, I thought it was pretty predictable, so I wouldn't say this was like a high recommend and everyone's got to see it. You're just going to blow your mind. I thought it was fun. I thought it was enjoyable, and not really fun because it's kind of serious matter, but like, it's a wild movie. I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed this one. But yeah, if you're looking for a nice thriller, this is a good watch. All right, so this movie here is something from the 90s. I spent a lot of my childhood into these kinds of movies and the games that were associated with these, and it's 007 Die Another Day, the one with Halle Berry, Pierce Brosnan. This is probably my favorite. Like, everyone loves GoldenEye, but I love Halle Berry and her coming out of the ocean onto the beach in that bikini. I don't think you can go wrong. Is this one of the best Bond films? Probably not, but this is the ones that I grew up with. I grew up with the Pierce Brosnan ones, so I have some nostalgia there. Like, I love the Sean Connery ones. I've been recently diving into like the Roger Moore stuff. But I grew up with the Pierce Brosnan era of James Bond. So even though those ones were a little over the top, a little cheesy, 90s, they're my Bond. And so I love this. Glad to finally have the Blu-ray. And I'll be watching it very soon. Now here's one that it wasn't really on my radar, but I bought something, and then Amazon's like, somebody who bought that also bought this. And I don't think that they were really connected, but it intrigued me enough. And this was a good film, but it's like a dark thriller. Definitely a dark film. Not a comedy at all. Nothing, not even dark humor, but it's a super serious film thriller. And it's Dark Crimes with Jim Carrey. It takes a dark mind to solve a twisted crime. So this one has like sex and corruption and underworld stuff and criminal elements. And Jim Carrey plays a cop. I'm pretty sure there's some accents going on. This is another one that I was watching, but my wife was talking to me at the time. I'm pretty sure he's like Russian. But it's a great film. Great film. So he gets involved trying to track down this murder, and it's like the murder is very similar to how an author did it. So it's a very similar premise to Basic Instinct, but it's not the same. But it's crazy. I enjoyed this one, but it's a very dark film, and it leaves you kind of, not sad, but it leaves you kind of not even empty. I don't know. I left this film and I felt something. I'm just not sure what I felt. Like, it stuck with me. It definitely stuck with me. It's a hard-hitting film, I think. Now, the next one here is a sci-fi film that it has a great cast. You have Hugh Jackman, pretty sure Rebecca Ferguson, and Thaddeus Newton is in this one, and it is Reminiscence. So this one here, Hugh Jackman's character, he's running this business where they can like go back in time, but like in a memory. It's wild. And Thaddeus Newton works for him, but it's he's trying to figure out a crime from the past, and that's how this whole thing works. But then like the police and everybody doesn't really like believe in this kind of science. It's a good movie. I liked this one. There's a whole setup involved, a twist. But yeah, being a sci-fi film, it's flew under my radar. So this is an older film. I picked it up cheap on Amazon, and yeah. Do I think it's a high recommend? No, it's clearly not for everybody. It's a sci-fi film, and not a slow burn, but not a ton of action. But really good one. Nice twist. Now here's another Fred Astaire, Sid Charisse. Are these the same film? Did I pick up the same film? All right, now here's one that I picked up, The Bandwagon, with Fred Astaire, Sid Charisse, and I guess it's very similar to the other one. I didn't get to watch this one. I opened it up, full intention on watching it, and I didn't get around to it. And this is something that, again, I love the Fred Astaire films, musicals, the dance number. I love all that stuff. That is for me. I don't know if these other ones are connected. I didn't realize that it was also Sid Charisse in this one as well. But yeah, I'll be checking this one out. Now here's one that I did get to watch, but it is wild. It is something, and then the name of the movie is What? And that's how I felt when I watched it. It's Roman Polanski's What, with Sidney Rome. And the opening scene, she's an American, she's overseas, and like she's in a cab, she gets out of the cab, but then they're trying to rape her, but then there's it's like a comedy, it's kind of goofy, and then like there's a lot of time where she's naked, and then like she's at a place where like a lot of other people are naked, and again I'm leaving the film going, what? But it's wild. And then like this older man who's not very attractive is like hitting on her, and then she decides to sleep with him, and then he puts on like this like tiger, like a rug. It was like a tiger rug. He puts it on him, and then he pretends to be a tiger, and then asks that she whips him and stuff. It's weird. It's a weird movie. I don't know if I love it, but I didn't hate it, but also I left going, what? So yeah, I'm gonna have to dive into that one again. Let's see. This is one, James Franco, Danny McBride, Natalie Portman. A long time ago, I had this on DVD, and then I got rid of all those DVDs that had a Blu-ray. So this was an upgrade from something I didn't have in the collection anymore, but I used to have this on DVD, and it's Your Highness, the unrated version. This is one of those, it was Amazon sale. It came to me, and so far I haven't had too many issues with Amazon other than things getting lost. But here, this was the first one that showed up all smashed up and broken, and it might have been broken before it got sent in the package too, because like this was all sealed up. There was the sticker over the top of this, and then when I removed everything, it was all broken. So it might have been broken before, but easy fix, simple Blu-ray case. That's why I do have the replacement cases, and people ask why do I go with the colored cases, because if I'm gonna have to spend money to replace these cases, I might as well get something fun. So that's why I do that in general. But this movie, it's a over-the-top raunchy comedy. Enjoyed it. Love Natalie Portman. I don't think you'll go wrong with her. Danny McBride is hilarious in this. But yeah, it's been a little while since I've seen it, so looking forward to revisiting it as well. Now, the next two, I have not got to see these either, but looking forward to them. This is one that's been on my radar for a very long time. I saw the trailer, and I knew it was a me movie. I know it's not for everybody, but it's Peanut Butter Falcon with Shia LaBeouf, Dakota Johnson, John Hawkes, and Zach Gottensagin. I think that's his name. But yeah, this one here, it's a drama. I'm pretty sure it's not a family drama, but Shia LaBeouf's character looks like he befriends this mentally retarded guy, and they create this bond and this friendship, and along the way, this other girl, Dakota Johnson, she's involved there. That's what I remember from the trailer. I don't know what this is about, but I am looking forward to it. Like I said, it's been high on my radar for a long time. A young man with Down syndrome who runs away. So I apologize. He had Down syndrome. From a resident nursing home to fulfill his dream of attending the pro wrestling school of his idol, the saltwater redneck, on road, Zach meets Tyler, Shia LaBeouf, a small town outlaw who becomes Zach's unlikely coach and ally together. So yeah, I am looking forward to this one. Like I said, it's a me movie. And then I picked up Bing Crosby's Going My Way. This one, singing, Bing Crosby, I don't think you can go wrong. Now this one, I didn't get to see it, but I know kind of what it's about. So there's like this down and out parish, this priest played by Bing Crosby. He gets sent to this parish, and then he basically touches a lot of lives, fixes a lot of people, and that's from what I got, what I gathered from this. But looking forward to it. It's an old black and white film, and for me, I love these old black and white films. Now here's one. I've never really been huge into anime, but I have been adding things regularly and stuff that's been recommended, but then also as I have several movies in my collection that I'm aware that have an anime connection or based off an anime or related to it in some fashion, I've been adding those. So I added this one, and it was a surprise, but I enjoyed it. I think it was fantastic, but nothing like its movie counterpart. This one here is Kite, and it says all over it, not for children. And there is a version when you go to play it that you can watch that has all that stuff taken out. But this is a hard movie. I enjoyed it, but it's definitely not for children. It is borderline pornography. The scenes in here, the sex scenes in here are very realistic. And are they necessary? I think they are. For this story, I think it actually works. But is that the part I enjoyed? No. But I enjoyed the overall story, and it is way different than the regular counterpart with, I think Sam Jackson's in that movie. But yeah, this was a first time watch for me. Really enjoyed it. And I am trying to add at least one anime title per month. To try to dive into that. I have bought a bunch in the past, and I just haven't been able to get through everything. And the thing is, anime can be very expensive, and if you get into the TV shows, very time consuming. So I am trying to add stuff, but this was easy to consume. There was only a few episodes. It was very short, and yeah, it's a little wild. Now we have this one. It's been recommended to me for a long time. But then this is something that, it's one of the few that Siskel and Ebert gave 2 thumbs up that I also still enjoyed. And it's V.I. Warshawski with Kathleen Turner. Now, I don't know why I missed this one all these years. I remember this one when I was a kid. I seen it at the video rental store. I remember the trailers. And I even was familiar with Siskel and Ebert's take on this film. But for whatever reason, I missed it until now. I picked it up. It was like super cheap. And I'm glad I grabbed it. Really enjoyable story. So she's a private detective. She calls herself V.I. Warshawski. So people respect her instead of just going, she's a girl, who cares? And so there's that. A little bit of a comedy, but a little bit of an action movie. Really enjoyed this one. Now the next one here is something that's been recommended to me for a very long time. And it stars Terry Garr, Peter Weller, Christopher Collette, and Corey Haim. So it's one that, and he's not a headliner on here, and I don't even think he's listed on the back. So I don't know exactly in his fame when he actually was in this film, but I enjoyed it. I enjoyed this movie, but it's not what I expected. Corey Haim being in it, being highly recommended, I kind of felt this was going to be leaning more into like an 80s comedy. It is not. It does feel like an 80s TV movie, so I'm not sure if it was or not, but it was really enjoyable. So, Firstborn, so you have, Terry Garr. She's the single mother. She meets this guy. He's lies. He's caught in his lies many times by the kids. And then Corey Haim's character is like a fighter. He's constantly getting in trouble at school for fighting. And then his brother has to kind of bail him out. But his brother also has a little bit of a chip on his shoulder when the boyfriend comes around. So this boyfriend infiltrates everything. But then along the way, like alcohol, drugs, the older son finds a bunch of cocaine hidden in the house, and he's selling that stuff. Not the son, but the mom's boyfriend. And yeah, it's one of those types of movies where it just kind of had like a, you know, after school special TV vibe to it, and that's what it brought me back to. Really enjoyed this one. Glad I finally added it to the collection. I don't know why it took me so long, especially because it's an Olive Films movie, and I'm trying to collect all the Olive Films titles. There was around 600 of them. I have close to 100 now. So yeah, this is something that I should have added a long time ago. Great film. High recommend. But it is 1984, and it's a hard-hitting drama, but overall a great film. Now, the next two here I picked up for my wife. I'm not a huge fan of these films. I never have been. I'm not a sports guy, so sports just really isn't for me. There's a few sports movies I'll see, and I have seen these before. Actually, I never saw the second one until I married my wife. But the first one, it was on TV all the time when I was a kid, and I'm talking about Major League and Major League 2. So we had Major League on Blu-ray. So this was an upgrade. It was I think it was cheap. It was cheap. I picked it up. It was part of the Black Friday stuff, so I picked this up for her. And then, so this was an upgrade. But we didn't have the second one, because the second one we always had on DVD, so I finally pulled the trigger on this. Now, this one was cheap. It was a great price. But this, I think, was like 25 bucks. Like, this felt like a gut punch when I bought it. But she didn't have it. It was Christmas. It made sense to me. We had the DVD. I got rid of the DVD a long time ago because I was like, well, it's got a Blu-ray. I'll get it eventually. And she had been wanting to watch this one, so I picked both of these up. And I thought the 4K looked great. She hasn't watched this one yet. I'm sure it's a nice upgrade over that DVD. But yeah, we picked those up. Not my favorites, but they're good movies. If you like the sports stuff. And this one here for sure, the first one, it is a high recommend for me, but it's not one that I go to often. And if I wasn't with her, if I found it at a thrift store on any format, I probably would have picked it up, and then I would have never upgraded to the 4K. That is a fact. But, this one. This is the very last one that I picked up, and it is Harold and Kumar Escape from Guantanamo Bay. So I finally rounded out my Harold and Kumar movies, and I watched this one. It was a fun one as far as like the Harold and Kumar films go. I like the first one. The first one's fantastic for what it is. This is good. But then the third one, which is a Christmas one, the Very Merry Christmas, I think is the best. Honestly, I really do. But without that one, or without the original, the other two, that one I don't think hits as hard, because these first two, they're friends. They go through all these trials and tribulations together. And then that third one, they start out as kind of being estranged. Like they're separated. The one moves out. He gets married. He has a house. He does his thing. The other one's kind of still doing the drugs and, you know, kind of a loser, and they get back together. And so the third one is my favorite, but this was an overall fun watch. Glad to have it in the collection now, and yeah, I think this was like $5. No more than that. So finally finished my trilogy, and glad to have that. So that was everything I picked up in December. Unfortunately, I didn't get to watch everything. Let me know in the comments down below what you picked up in December, some of your favorites, or if any of these, you had any commentary on these at all. You're going to want to check out this video right here. And with that, remember to watch a movie today, and I'll catch you guys next time.